Hey guys, DogKatsu here. Today I will be showing you my final build for both PvE and PvP. Now, a slight disclaimer, you may have different mod substats, meaning it is still important that you still test which mods work best for you. Also, we do not know which substats such as damage to normal enemies or elites and great ones apply on the dummy. For example, if you will notice, I have accumulated a significant amount of damage bonus against common enemies, and that may affect the overall DPS testing, only it affects the dummy in practice. Now, let us talk about the elephant: shrapnel helmets. Okay, right. Based on my previous testing, out of all the three helmets, gray and plastic helmet are more or less the same, and it depends on your build. And just a quick addition, do not ever use the cage helmet no matter what build you are using, because it is trash. Here, don't use that, or don't even buy that. Okay, however, if you are building shrapnel souvenir, here let me show you the souvenir. Here, this infinite ammo mod, you ought to use the beret. Okay, there's no reason for you to equip other helmets such as the cage helmet, the gas tight helmet, if you're using that mod, right? Other than that, like in my previous videos, this current build is still using the gas tight helmet because it gives me the highest DPS. So simple explanation, the gas tight helmet reduces your maximum shrapnel hit parts by 1, meaning you can only hit up to 2 parts. In comparison, by default, you can hit like up to 3 parts. With the beret, you can hit up to 4 parts. But with the gas tight helmet, you hit 1 to 2 parts only. But at the same time, it increases the shrapnel base damage. As you can see, shrapnel damage here is significantly higher than when using beret or any other helmet, right? From 50% weapon damage, it now deals here from 50% of your weapon damage. I think it now deals 170% of your weapon damage, supposing that this is completely additive. Okay, one more situational advantage the gas tight has over the beret is that the shrapnels are not spread thinly. You get at max 2 chunky shrapnels that may hit the enemy's weakest point, like this one, and so they will not get reduced that much, unlike when using the beret that can hit multiple parts, including the strongest parts, and so the shrapnels might get spread thinly, the sense that they may get reduced more because they are hitting the strongest parts of the enemy. So in my build, the beret deals overall less damage, and I can say that the gas tight helmet is better for both PvE and PvP, at least in my build. Okay, for the main weapon, I am using 2 mods: Smash, Obliterate. Here, Smash is for farming monoliths, while Obliterate is for the overworld. For some reason, using Smash allows me to reach up to 910,000 DPS on a single mag, which I'll show you later. I can't replicate this on the Obliterate. However, Obliterate seems to be better for base DPS, like without any overcooked buffing. I'm sure you won't mark every enemy you encounter with bullseye and buff yourself with the axe, right? So I just use Obliterate when I explore the map or do normal pro silo runs. As for the calibration, I am using the precision style here. I'm using the precision style. I think this is the best one out there. And as for the accessories, here they are: hammer condensator, compact reflex sight, tactical laser sight, extended rifle, and smart rifle. I'm almost out of this one. This is more expensive than the tungsten rifle bullet, but most of the time I use this. This is just for showcase and bossing. Most of the time I'm just using this. Now, as for the secondary weapon, I got a Bingo sniper. This is a drop gear, but in general I use the crossbow. You can use the Bingo sniper or the wildfire pistol if you have them. Here's the wildfire pistol. I think they are easier to use, but for some reason when testing the dummy, I am not sure if the Bingo is able to mark the enemy, or the dummy rather. I'm not sure if it marks the here. I can't tell if it is marked. So when testing, I'm just using the crossbow, right? So for the mod, we are using vulnerability amplifier for the mod, which provides additional debuff on the enemy. As for the melee, I now have the long axe, and I suggest that you use one also if you have it. It's only a trap here, so doing a heavy attack with this weapon grants us Fortress Warfare, which basically increases our weapon damage by 20% here, and it also increases our crit rate by 10%. So I am using the portable territory mod on this weapon. Basically it extends this buff, the Fortress Warfare buff, by 2 seconds, and it works even if you switch out of the axe, right? So to proc all this, you need to switch to your axe, do a heavy attack for half a second, and then switch to the next weapon. As you can see, it places the Fortress Warfare buff here. It won't proc if you're on another weapon and you press the V melee to do a heavy attack like this one. You need to be on your axe, right? You need to be on your axe to proc the Fortress Warfare buff. Just do a heavy attack for half a second and then switch to other weapon. And do not hit anything because it lowers the durability of this axe. So just maintain the durability of this axe by animation cancelling. Okay. For the helmet mod, I'm using the gas tight helmet. For the helmet mod, I'm using the Faithful Strike. Now, another alternative mod that you can test for this build is the Momentum Up here. Fortunately, I don't have good substats for it, so it's out of the showcase, but I believe that it's on par or even better than Faithful Strike once you get the right substats on it. But for now, I'm sticking with the Faithful Strike because I really don't care about weak spot damage. I only care about crit consistency and damage. And apparently, well, don't take my word for it, but I think shrapnel is not affected by the Faithful Strike, or so it seems, and so it still benefits from the additional weak spot damage granted by the Carnage mod on the mask, which we will discuss next. So for the mask here, using the Shrapnel Carnage mod, it helps when facing bosses like the Hound or the Signal Lights Silo boss because it allows you to hit weak spots without needing to aim for them. Nothing fancy, but it's the most competitive mod out there for shrapnel, in my opinion, for both PvE and PvP. But for maximum DPS in PvE against monolith bosses, use this mod, the targeted strike. This mod gives tons of crit boost to our build, and currently, as you can see, I have trash substats for this one, though the magazine capacity is nice, but in general, the crit damage should be around 15%, and it should have damage against great ones at least, right? For the gloves, I am now using the crit amplifier, which gives crit rate and crit damage. This has better substats than my than this one, my crit boost. So in total, this one adds 21% more crit damage compared to my crit boost, right? So for the boots, I'm still using the covered advantage. I find this more consistent and reliable compared to other mods, which requires stricter conditions. As you can see, the condition for getting this buff is almost always doable. And so for most of the time, especially in PvP, you will have this buff no matter what, right? There's the other mod which gives you 20% more damage also, as long as your HP remains above 90%, but that's useless in PvP, so I'm not farming for that. I'm okay with this. I'm running okay with this, although sometimes when you do bosses, this expires before you burst the boss, so sometimes you're just unlucky and this one expires, or it doesn't proc before bursting down the boss. So for the chest, we are using a blue crit mod here. Get crit damage, a blue crit damage and damage against great ones, right? Get those substats. Those are the best substats for this one. And lastly, for the pants, it's either bullet siphon or dead shot. In my case, the bullet siphon gives me more damage despite having garbage substats compared to my dead shot, right? Just look at the juicy substats, right? Again, weapon damage is king if you already have tons of crit damage, right? Like in my like in this build, already have tons of crit damage. So for both PvE and PvP, I'm using bullet siphon. Okay. So as for the sets, just go for 4-piece lone wolf and 1-piece pastille. Just keep in mind that don't purchase any set on the helm, because you will be using that slot for the beret or gas tight, right? So as for the substats, you're looking for crit damage, weapon damage, damage to great ones, and even mag capacity for PvE. In PvP, I'm not so sure about defensive stats, but since most people are using the unstable bomber with the overcooked pistol, right? Find a substat that reduces that damage type. I think it's called status damage reduction. The PVE Cradle, we are using this one. Automatic weapon enhancement, master tactician, deviation master, rapid aid, tactical combo, deadly combo, steady hand, and bullet hunt. Now, steady hand will be useful if and only if you are using momentum up, because we are using the Fateful Strike. We do not deal any weak spot damage, but this is huge if you have a good momentum up, right? And if you're on PvP, remove this, that, and this one, steady hand. Remove that also, and then replace it with agility and roll boost. Okay, this one. So here's the PVP. Hey, before I get to the showcase, here are the buffs that are utilized by this build: Fortress Warfare, Covered Advance, Handmade, Lone Wolf Stacks, Bastille, and Corn Ale, because I need my HP at 70% and above, and I'm on corrupted ground, as you might notice. So here's the final PVE build showcase that uses the Gas Tight, Bullet Siphon, Smash, Targeted Strike, and Fateful Strike. I did the testing yesterday, so do not be afraid of the cuts. I'm not here to deceive anyone, so just take note of the active buffs. Okay, if you want to overcook the DPS though, do 5 heavy melees with the axe first. That will give you 50% additional crit rate. Okay, so here's the PVE showcase. There are only 2 changes I made for PvP, and one more possible alternative mod that I would like to point out. On the weapon, in PvP, you should be using Obliterate. Here's Obliterate. And on the mask, I'm using the Carnage mod. Here. Never ever use something that needs to ramp up like the Smash for the weapon, right? This one, and the explosive shrapnel, right? Because by the time you have fully ramped up your damage, it's either you're dead or the enemy is already dead, so it's pointless. Of course, it's also absolutely nonsense to use targeted strike, as you won't be marking the enemy 100% of the time, right, with this build, unless you're cheeky, right? Who am I to stop you? But in that case, the Bingo Sniper with Rapid Bolt Calibration should do the trick. There, it should have the Rapid Bolt Calibration. So, here's the final PvP or PVE Overworld build showcase that uses the Gas Tight, Obliterate, the Carnage, okay, the Carnage, and Fateful Strike. To give you more DPS comparisons, base DPS comparisons, here are clips on various scenarios. Just read the caption for each scenario, okay?
May beret.
End to end, please do not mindlessly copy builds out there, including mine. Guides are not absolute. You can always change them according to your circumstances and substats. So when in doubt, get all the mods in question, do yourself a favor and test them all, right? Always check what's best for you. Do not blindly follow because each of us has different substats. I already put timestamps on this video, so if I see anyone again complaining about how lengthy it is, then it simply means my hamster has more attention span than you. And that's it. I am out.